Hey everybody, Glee here. So today, on today's stream, we're going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm going to open up with, just as my warm up, I'm going to do the part of the Budokan red belt kata that I've done. Then I'm going to get into some pole and some sword. So that's what we're in for tonight. Make sure my sword's out of the way so I'm not tripping on it. Start off in Seiza, Budokan red belt kata. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm still in frame, right? Yeah, good. This is here in Seiza, Virasana. Have a little meditation. I'll do a longer meditation at the end of the practice. Doing this caterpillaring the spine 3 times to start the red belt kata. Articulating the spine. Feet come together. One-legged dog. Chin with knee kick to clown. Wild thing pose. One-legged dog, open up the hip. And gently take that on the other side. That on the other leg. Shoulders stacked directly over wrists. One more time. And as I go progress further through the red Budokan, red Velcata, we'll do more than that, but it's as far as I've gotten so far. After 15 years of the last time I did it. So I'm going to move the yoga mat away. That's a good warm up. Cheers. Start off with the Korean style pole form. Make sure you got enough room. This is a 4-foot pole. Usually it's done with a 6-foot pole. And a lot more room. This is a forward somersault, but I don't have the room to do that in my raise that camera up a little bit more. Sorry for the sound. Just trim that a little bit. There we go. So that's the Korean one. Here's a bit of the Chinese one. And now some Japanese style pole. Sweeps, deflecting with the pull, the level guard, thrusting, deflecting, striking down, deflecting again, striking down, sweeping the foot, sweeping the foot or leg, posture, downward strike, rearward poke to the foot, rearward poke to the foot. So this is new. I haven't shown you this before. This rearward poke to the foot with the pull. This is a bit of a deflecting something coming towards the leg and stamping down and hitting again, deflecting down, stamping, hitting. You can also do that thrust, an upward strike, thrust, regular thrust, downward strike, pull cue, so with all that spinning and whatnot, some of these forms are really good for teaching you. Well, what the forms won't teach you is distancing and targeting. So instead of just spinning your pole wildly about, it's good to practice targeting. So I'm going to go back to the Shaolin Temple. Light a candle and use that for targeting. Do a few stationary thrusts at the candle. Stationary thrusts at the candle. Okay, guys, I guess it's kind of hard to see, but the candle is there. See if we change the backdrop carefully. Tilt the candle. It's more in the middle. Yeah, I guess you can't see the candle, can you? It's fine. Suffice to just see it's where my finger is pointing, so practice thrusting stationary and with footwork, just so we get that important bit of targeting. So we're getting distancing by moving forward, moving back. We're getting angling by moving to the sides. Block, thrust, thrust, rest. So the back arm is the power one and the right one is the aiming device. So we're aiming with the left arm check our posture, make sure our balance is good. Nice stable posture. Play around. Just make sure that your eyes are aiming. Do a little footwork and angling to it. So the angling is the side to side part. The overhand thrust. Angling. Distance. Is the actual thrust in this particular Japanese one isn't straight in. It's off the line of attack and then thrust and then angle instead of just going straight in is good for stationary practice, but the actual deflection part is going in and then angling off the line of attack and then doing that thrust. So there's a bit of a difference between just stationary straight in thrusting at the target and working off the line of attack, because I don't want to stand here and clash with them directly, moving that foot forward and then moving that back foot to adjust my angle. So I'm moving off that line of attack, moving off that line of attack. Underhand thrust, overhand thrust, on the other side. Again, we're moving off that line of attack. Now the overhand thrust. One side isn't as good as the other side, so I have to work on that. Just do it slowly. Get a tighter grouping every time you do it. Get back to the form again. This time a little more focused because I actually got a target in mind. So. A little more hip twist in this for more range of motion. So even when practicing your forms, just keep in mind that you're aiming at certain targets. You're not just blindly. So here's that. Only with the cross stance thrust that I did before. In that section of the form, forward somersault, back up, across the back, downward head. So even with these strikes, these circular strikes, we want to be aiming at something and not just swinging our pole around. So bring that back around. Hit, crane stance with the foot. So at one point we were doing just the shuffle foot and hit. The other one we were doing the crossover step with the crossed stance and touching the legs like this affects the meridians. So it's another benefit to this particular crossed stance. I'll move back further so you can see what I'm talking about. So cross stance. With the feet together. There's a certain benefit to touching the meridians with the legs doing this cross stance. I'll lower the angle of the camera once more. So before we were thrusting with the shuffle step. Okay. I don't know if you can, I guess it's kind of hard to see. Let me adjust that height again. Sorry for the noise that it makes. It's still not angled right. Do this against the green screen so you can see. So first thrust that we did was a shuffle step. And that's also a good practice too, is if you're doing these things two-handed, try doing a single hand thrust just to get the form down. So the first one was a shuffle step. The next one is that cross stance, crossover. I guess as you can see my feet. So cross stance. Feet together. One foot's pointing to the side, the other one is pointing somewhat forward. And these are together. So one of them, I was taking that T stance and I was shuffling the foot forward and thrusting with the pole. The other one is crossover step, cross stance with that thrust of the pole. And now Japanese karate, not the Japanese jiu-jitsu, but the Japanese karate version of the pole. One more time. One more time, actually. That's kind of like that deflection I did from the jiu-jitsu, only this is a karate. So if you're deflecting, you can either have the pole at an angle, or if something's coming to you from the side, just straight up. If it's coming at you forward, angle, so it slides off the pole and protects your head. So linear or angular deflection from attack from the front or from the side. This is knocking the pole down. Crane stance, side kick, hit, kick and thrust with the pole at the same time. Hit, thrust, kick, side kick at the same time. Hit. scooping down and hitting with either part of the pole. So scooping down lower, hitting with the pole from the side, and then pushing them away, going into that cross stance, pushing them away, turning and locking the pole down again, kick, 2 strikes, ready position, kick, strike, strike, deflection, 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 so deflection, deflection, deflection while stepping, and releasing the pole, wrapping it around their neck, pulling them into a knee kick, and 2 different postures, ending the kata, which is based on this empty-handed kata. You still can't see that. One more from the top so we can actually see. So that's just been adapted to the pole. One more time, then we'll get into some sword. Knock it down. Side kick, hit, hit. Side kick. Pull thrust, hit, hit. Scooping down and hitting. Knocking away with the pole. And from there, knocking away with the pole. Turning. Kick, thrust, thrust. Or not thrust, thrust, strike, strike. Kick, hit, hit. Deflect one way, deflect the other way. Deflect one way. Let the pole go, wrap it around their neck. Pull them into a knee strike. Pull them into the knee strike, and then guarding posture. So now we'll get into some sword. I'll do part of sword form 3 that I did last week or a week ago or so. Now I can move the belt knob to the back, because in sword, the belt is pretty much to keep the scabbard in place. To tighten up the belt a little bit. It's a little too loose. For sword drawing purposes, Yeah. So instead of that horizontal draw, this time we're doing a vertical draw. So close up, the thumb is putting resting on the scabbards, not directly over the blade because you don't want to cut yourself when you open up the sword out of the scabbard. So you want it off to the side, not directly over the blade, but off to the side. Use your thumb, push so the sword can be drawn easily, and make sure you don't. So having your thumb on that side, not here, because that's your sword can be drawn, otherwise it's stuck in there. Vertical draw this time. Shallow diagonal cut to the neck on both sides. Cut. Step in, low stance, slow back cut, middle of a guard, forward, knock it off to the side, cut again, back, back, looking off to this side, downward cut, downward cut. So usually you're using the wooden sword until you get this form down, you're formed down properly and you're not injuring yourself. So once again, let's do it from a different angle. We have equilibrium, the sword is balanced in the belt. Taking a small step forward in walking stance, clear the sword out of the scabbard, vertical draw, downward shallow diagonal cut, one side and to the other, middle level guard, step forward, downward cut quickly, so draw, draw, sword goes back, 1, 2, cut, slow, quick, up middle level guard, step, deflect, and cut again, back, back, turning off to the side, deflect, and cut, deflect, and cut, so deflect and cut on that side, deflect, and cut on the other side. One more time from the front, or maybe this angle, I guess. Find your breath, find your balance, start the form, clear the sword from the scabbard, sword goes behind the back, step forward, shallow neck cuts, middle level guard, step forward, cut, slow, low stance, sodose, and back, quick again, middle level guard, deflect and cut. Moving back carefully, middle level guard, deflect and cut, deflect and cut, prepare the sword for the sword bag, and that'll be our practice for today. So we did some of that yoga. We did some Korean pull, a little bit of Chinese pull opening, and Japanese pull, and ended with Korean sword. So I'm sweating, so we did do some strenuous moving around. Keep forgetting the lighting isn't so good here. Cheers. See if I can find someone to raid on Twitch. That's about 45 minutes. It's not a bad practice. Really can't find too many people on health and fitness lately when I've been finishing up my streams on Twitch, so. Someone's streaming some gaming, so I guess that's what we'll do. Thanks a lot for joining me. This is Glee. So I hope you've learned something or at least been entertained. All that weapon work has strengthened my wrists and relaxed my shoulders quite a bit, so it's a side benefit to the practice, not just the technical work, but the healthy overall body, the breathing, the moving. And as I said on my Thanksgiving message, I'm thankful for the viewers I have so far. I look forward to making new ones. Celebnado is an Aussie streamer, and she does a lot of games. Sometimes she does some pretty scary games too, and so it's entertaining. So we'll just raid her and get there. Type in Lee Raid. Thanks again for everybody for joining me.